Hi everybody, I'm back. I hope you are all doing well. So I got the first block done. This is going to be part 3 of the Make With Me a Japanese Rice Bag. And as I stated in the last video, but not the first video, which I should have, a Japanese rice bag does not have anything to do with putting rice in and putting it in the microwave. This is all about a small drawstring tote bag. Yes, it used to be carried, it used to carry rice to the temples as an offering, but that's not what we're going to use it for. Unless that's your wish, you know. So this is block number 1, and I did straight stitches, fly stitches. I did French knots with and seed stitch with the lavender, more fly stitch. These were little butterflies on the fabric. You can see like right here what it looked like. And I just went over them with lilac thread. So that's the first one. Then I worked on the second one as well. So a little bit of lace and a butterfly, just some French knots. I outlined the butterfly in the frame here for the lavender. Didn't do much of anything else on it because, I mean, half the picture is upside down. So, and then I just did straight stitching on the bottom. So how far have you gotten on yours if you're making it with me? And I hope you are. If you're not, I understand. That's fine too. I'm just working on a new project, and the hearts are still going. I am still making them. My Instagram is MJ Manigros, Manigros, as in Sammy Snake. And if you want to follow me there, I have been posting every single day for 84 days, I think now it is. You know, I'm kind of over it, but I am going to finish the 100 days, but I'm not going to continue making hearts. It's just, I'm a little over it at this point, and that's okay too. So I wanted to challenge myself and do the 100-day, you know, project. And I did it. I'm almost there. I knew I had a pin in there for a reason. And, you know, I've stuck to it and I'm still sticking to it. It's just that I think probably most of my audience is maybe over it. I don't know. I am sweating again. It's warm. It's not that warm outside, but when I have the curtains open and I know I've probably explained this to death, when I have the curtains open for the natural light to come in to help with my lighting situation, because I do not have a ring light or anything, you know, really official for filming except for just a small LED lamp, which is right there. And the sun is shining sort of off and on today. It's another one of those days where the sky is white, not blue, even though the sun is shining. It drives me crazy. And the air quality is horrible. Let me just make that clear. It's horrible. So, as you can see, I am, let me show you on the other ones. I am only stitching within the confines of the batting on the back of the squares. Use your words, Martha. And so all of this fabric will now be caught in the seams when I put them together and stitch them on the machine, and there shouldn't be any muslin gaps showing like in my first one. But I am still keeping the stitching within the confines of the batting that's on the back. And that helps so much. Like, I don't have to think extra hard about it. Is anybody else like that? I don't want to think extra hard about my playtime. My playtime is supposed to be about playing. And I've been watching a couple of the people that are doing the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery prompts. And I think that's why I don't do those things. You know, the prompt is to, I mean, it's not like the prompt police are going to come get you if you don't follow it exactly, but I have to think too hard. And I'm more of, and I got this from, okay, I'm going to say I'm more wabi-sabi than that. Now, if you don't know what wabi-sabi is, you can research it. The simple sort of definition of it is that you're just doing what comes naturally, like what are the threads telling you they want to be? What is the fabric telling you it wants to be? How is it all coming together? And, you know, is it coming from your heart or are you overthinking it? And I am way more a wabi-sabi kind of person. Like even putting these together, it's not really how I started it. I put a whole bunch together and then it took me probably, I'd say, somewhere between 2 and 3 hours to rearrange all the fabrics and have a better outcome. There were way too many busy patterns for me. Like even this one, it's got these 3 with obvious patterns and a very subtle pattern here, and then all the color changes. Sometimes my eye and my brain cannot handle that. So I changed it several times. And then I'd have like 2 that were perfect, and then the other 2 were like, I'm not happy with that. I think in the end, I got it so that I was happy with it, but it's got to be appealing to your own eye. It may not be appealing to anybody else's, but it should be appealing to your eye. I have a cousin who, she can no longer quilt or anything. She has a very severe case of dementia, but she was really good at making things from patterns, like, you know, certain quilt blocks and stuff like that. I hate like trying to match up corners and do a patterned quilt block. I either did squares, pre-cut squares at that, or I did the long strips. That's how I quilted. Cutting big fabric into little fabric and then sewing it together and trying to match up corners and crap, not my forte. But Judy was really good at them. Really good. But her color coordination, not so good. And I said to her one day, when you buy these fabrics, are you buying them? And I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just trying to figure out her process and how she did this. And her process was to complete the pattern, but when she purchased the fabrics, she didn't like pay attention to the color schemes. She didn't purchase fabrics that went together. When I purchased fabrics, it was always kind of as a set. Oops. And I don't know how to explain that, except that, you know, when you go to a quilt shop, it might not be this way when you go to Joann's or something like that. But when you go to a quilt shop, and those are all kind of wonky. They're all flying this way. Oh, well. Wabi-sabi. When you go to a quilt shop, you can buy, okay, for example, this fabric here. I don't know if you can see the very subtle I don't know if it's showing up in the light, the very subtle outlines of trees. I have like probably at least 6 or 7, maybe more, of these fabrics in different colors, but they all have the same pattern on them. And when you buy a jelly roll or a charm pack, they're all from the same designer and set of fabric and stuff. And that's how I like to do my thing. So, and I think I'm pretty fairly good at putting color schemes together and stuff. I know when it's not working. Sometimes I let it go anyway. But I'm very conscious of the color and the aesthetic. And she didn't really pay attention to that. But then I'm sort of married to someone like that. Like if it was, you know, his choice, everything would be brown and gray. And to him, brown and gray are the same colors. He'll say there's a gray bird outside, and it's brown. It's clearly brown. He's not colorblind either. So anyway, yeah, so she'd make beautiful quilts, and she had the techniques down, whereas I was terrible at the techniques, but I'm adjusting that. My camera doesn't stay in the same place twice, so I have to constantly adjust. So she made some beautiful quilts, but the color schemes were way off. But then once I said that to her, she went to the quilt shop and she got some help from the people who work there, and she made a few really beautiful quilts, as far as color schemes and stuff like that, before she stopped making any of that stuff. I hope I never stop making. I can't even imagine not being creative with my hands. It just would. I mean, I went through about a year period where I didn't make anything. And that year was terrible for many, many, many reasons. But one of the main reasons was that I wasn't making anything. Oh, I wish I'd moved that down. Now I'm going to lose half the flower. Oh, well. Oh, well, I'm mumbling to myself. My husband left the house about a half hour ago, and I haven't seen him. I don't know if he went for a walk and got stuck talking to people. People stop him and talk to him constantly. Like, he comes back and says, so-and-so taught me, and we ended up talking about blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. Good for you. Glad you're out socializing. More power to you. This has a lot of blank space on it, so I'm funking about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking about what I want to do up here and over here. So if I stop, it's kind of, that's why. I'm going to take this pin out. I think I'm going to do the fly stitch on this side as well. So, oops. Boy, I started right at the top. I don't know if you can hear a humming in the background. I had to turn a small fan on because when the curtains are open and the sun is shining in, it gets warm. As you know, because I'm constantly complaining about hot flashes. Okay. Not much new here. What's today? Wednesday? So Sunday we went out and saw our horse. Monday we went grocery shopping. We usually do some shopping on like Mondays and then some shopping on usually Thursday or Friday. When you eat almost everything fresh, then you run out of stuff. And you can't buy a whole bunch of it when you go because then it's no longer fresh by the end of a week. So we went grocery shopping on Monday, but we also did some shopping today. We did a Costco run. And I don't know if those of you, if anybody is from overseas, but Costco is a huge warehouse store that you get everything in bulk, like everything from toilet tissue to foil to plates to paper plates to, you know, you might pick up beans, but they're going to be 6 cans of beans in a package. You might pick up peanut butter, but it's 2 like 3-pound jugs of peanut butter in a package. So really large amounts of stuff. So we get nuts and seeds, and sometimes we get avocados, but I had just bought avocados on Monday before I knew that we were going to Costco today. We've bought potatoes there, but boy, they're not always the best potatoes, and they're huge. Like, even the potatoes are oversized. I'm not sure where they come from, so it's crazy. So we did that today. What did we do yesterday? Oh, we had to go empty the tanks. I will spare you the details, but we had to go empty the tanks on the RV. And when we do that we can do it, our community has a campground, and they have a separate dump station for people who own RVs. And so you can take it over there like when you come back from a trip and dump your tanks. So we did that. But like I said, if you don't know what that is, you don't want to know. So we have to go to the community center, pick up the key, go to the dump station, which is, you have to, you know, go a few different places to do that. Like, not a few different places. You have to drive to it. It's not like it's in the parking lot of the community center. You have to drive a few streets over. Take a few turns. That's what I meant. And then you dump your tanks. And then you have to drive the key, because they keep the dump station locked. And you have to drive the key back to the community center. And then Tony wanted to go to the little town of Culpeper, and go to the library. And the library has a bookstore in it, and people donate books. A lot of hardcovers, not just soft covers, paperbacks. And he buys the books. Usually the hardcovers are $1. There was one that's, I guess it's a fairly new release. Somebody must have read it and donated it. And that was $2. So he picked 2 up. And that'll keep him busy for a little while. And then we drove back home and had lunch. And then it was a long afternoon of discussions and decisions and stuff like that. Let's see. Oh, I think I'll do it. I think I'll just stitch across here. Just a straight stitch. Just a straight stitch. Just across the bottom. So not really busy, just everyday mundane chores and stuff like that. I had to make quinoa and lentils because that's my protein source for lunch and dinner, unless I have beans. And so I made that, and I do both of them in the Instant Pot, but the quinoa, you cook it for 2 minutes, but you let it rest until it naturally releases, which is like 10 to 12 minutes. The lentils take 10 minutes, and then you quick release them, and they're done. So no standing over a stove and watching them for, however long they take on a stove. And it's quick and it's easy. And I do one, wash out the pot for the Instant Pot. I only have a 3-quart. And do the next one. Okay, here's where I get overwhelmed. I don't know what to do next. So, come on. So I've been editing my movies in iMovie, and I don't know if that's the problem. Like when I stop the recording and then come back to you for whatever reason. So YouTube has been giving me a hard time about uploading them. And I don't know if it's because of the iMovie, because the last 3 I've done, I think I've had to edit. So yeah, it's been a bit complicated and a bit frustrating. I am looking for stuff over here on the side to see if there's anything I want to put in here. That's pretty. I could do that. Boy, some of this fabric just frays and frays and frays and frays. Should be using the good fabric scissors for this, but I'm not. Like this fabric with all the lavender, like this and this and this, that all comes as a, like they were all together in the quilt shop together as part of a set. Botanical Blues, that's what it says. But anywho's, yeah, so Wabi Sabi. I've been hearing that. There's a video I watched recently. Okay, I'm gonna have that hang over a little bit. Now, that's the edge, so that's not really good. See, the other thing when I'm doing this is that's the actual edge of the fabric where it's going to be sewn. So I don't want it way over here and look off center. Now the question is, how do I want to tack it down? Do I want to tack it down by, I know if I do the flowers, it's not going to, it's really not going to show very well. And I really like these little flowers. So I think I'm going to leave them. I feel like this side needs to fray a little more to match the other side. And to cover up my shoddy trim job with the scissors. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I think right over here. I'm going to pin it. Well, you know what? And pin it there. I want most of that flower to show, which I should have moved it down before I sewed this on. But I didn't. So there you go. Okay, we're just gonna put that there, put that there. Now, what do I want to sew it down with? Kind of like that, because it's blue and purple, and that's blue-ish, purpley blue. That one's got too much pink in it. That one, matches that, but I think it matches it too much. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Decisions. As Rachel says, decisions are the hardest. I think that's how she says it. If I'm wrong, correct me. But she's right, regardless of how she says it. Totally agree. Sort of feel like that's crooked. I think it's fine. And if it's not, it's a wabi-sabi. It's going to be on the side of a soft-sided bag, and it'll get distorted anyway. Now, I've not taken any of this fabric and done any Suffolk puffs or hexes or anything like that. So that may be down the road before I totally 100% finish it off, but I don't know. This one may not have a lot of that on there. Sure, we shall see. I don't want to do fly stitch again. Tell me what your favorite stitch is for attaching stuff like this. Probably could have used white, couldn't I? You know, I think that's what I'm going to do, if I can find my white. Oh, you should see my mess over here. No, you really shouldn't. Not really. Oops. All right, we'll use this short piece to begin with. Our friend Robin, hi Robin, stitched a bag. She didn't do any hand embellishment on it or machine embellishment. She just wanted to see if the method worked for her and put it together. And it's a cute little bag. And she sent me a picture and she said I could put it in. So I will either put it in here, or, and I've said I have to point like that so I know in the editing where to put it, or I'll put it at the beginning. Oops, let go. I don't want you there. And it's so funny. I have this quirk, like when I made quilts, I washed every bit of fabric before I used it, except not the charm packs and not the strips, the jelly rolls. And jelly rolls are just 2.5 inch wide. These have to go somewhere else because they are disturbing my piece with me sewing here. All right. And I used to wash all of my fabric, wash it, dry it, iron it faithfully. But I pulled this fabric out, and I think this fabric and this fabric, not washed. I don't think any of it's washed. Well, I know the dark fabric is not. And like I said, I have yards. Like I probably bought, I still feel like that's crooked. I probably bought at least 2 yards of maybe 6 to 8 pieces of fabric. Never made a quilt out of them. I do have a king size quilt made. However, I'm either going to have to quilt it myself by hand or quilt it on my machine, which I think would be pretty hard, even though I have a wide throat Janome sewing machine. It's a very wide throat. Lots of room in that throat. But it's a king-size quilt because I have a king-size bed. So I have thought about possibly either cutting the quilt in half and making 2 lap quilts out of it. They're beautiful, beautiful teals and purples and batiks, all batik fabric. So I could cut them in half and quilt like a couple of either lap quilts or nap kind of quilts, or, you know, they'd be smaller. Or I'm going to have to sit with that quilt on my lap and probably have it come out all wonky because it's going to be distorted no matter, I mean, I have spray, the spray that you can spray on your batting and it sticks it to your quilt top and your quilt backing. But I don't know. I think laying something that big over my lap and quilting it, even if I spray basted it and pinned it and everything else, I'm not sure it would be easy to hand quilt. And I would just probably just do straight stitch in the ditch or something. But I don't know. I have not taken that project on. And when I do, you probably wouldn't see me for a couple weeks because that would be a big project. I really should get it done. It'd be a really pretty quilt for the bed. So, alrighty, I'm going to just cut across here and go back up. So are you inspired at all to make one of these or not? It's not everybody's cup of tea. I just like having something easy to, that has a purpose. I have a real issue with making things that don't have a purpose. The hearts were a real struggle because even though I could easily, you know, put backs on them and give them away, I didn't do it. The purpose was to complete the project. What I plan on doing with all of them, which was a question a lot of people had, both on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. What are you going to do with them? Well, I can donate them. I can give them away. I can use them for patches. So some of them will be patches. Some of my favorites will probably be patches. But I also may just work on putting backs on them. And, I don't know, giving them away. They're not quilted hearts, so I don't know that I could do the I Found a Quilted Heart project with them. But that doesn't stop me from being able to put a little tag on them that says, I'm free. If you need a heart hug, then please take me home with you. You know? I'm not sure how many cynical people would come along and go, yeah, it's probably tainted with something. I mean, it's sad that you have to think about that nowadays, but you do. You do have to think about that nowadays. There's all kinds of videos going around about, you know, tainted things left on cars and somebody picks them up and then they're taken away, swept away in the midst of all the bad people around here. But anyway, off that subject. So the first time I heard wabi sabi was when I was weaving. And I used to do traditional weaving. But again, because it was traditional, there's a lot of counting. And we all know I don't like math. There was a lot of, you got to figure out the width, then you got to figure out the length, then you got to figure out how many threads you need to put on the loom. And then there was the dressing of the loom, winding the warp and dressing the loom. And it's a physical thing, very physical, which when I was doing it was okay. I could handle it. I would have to take breaks, but I could handle it. But it ended up, I loved making, like, I have dish towels that I made. I love my dish towels. I would love to make more dish towels. And I can because I have a small loom. But again, I'm just not inspired to do it because, look at that. That one little piece of thread did that whole thing. Oh, stay. Put your back. I also have these purples. Oh, sorry, I'm bending over. I have these purples too. Those are pretty. So I could use some of these on something. I should do something up and down the sides here. I just don't know what. Maybe seed stitch over here. And seed stitch over here because it looks like it's already seed stitched. Maybe this will be a lot of seed stitching. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, let's see. And this is a very thick thread, so many shades of purple, aren't there? I like that one on there the best. Okay. And these must be DMC. Get a few winds of this off here. And go to town here. So anyway, when I was weaving, then I was on, there's a website. Hold that thought. Oh, the memory. It's for like knitters and crocheters and weavers. And it is called, the name will come to me. It's like a forum type website. Holy crap. Can't believe I can't remember it. Anywho's. And there was this type of weaving called Saori weaving. S-A-O-R-I. And there was a Japanese woman who, when I started this, she was still alive, but she was very, 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 very old. She has since passed away and gone on to whatever is out there in the future for us. And her technique was very non-traditional wabi-sabi, is what she called it. And that's where I heard it for the first time. And then recently I started watching videos. Well, I think I've only watched one, but I've seen the other videos of hers pop up. And she talks about wabi-sabi stitching and other things. And I thought it was funny that that started coming up. And then I heard it again, and I can't remember where, like last night or today, this morning. I thought, okay, what are you trying to tell me, first off? And I think it was that I've been overthinking things and that I need to go back. I don't know if y'all believe in signs and stuff, but I need to go back to doing what's in my heart and just not overthinking it, but having fun enjoying what I'm doing. So last night I sat and worked on some stitching before bed, and I got up this morning and I did a little more stitching, and it's just sort of taken over my brain consumption at this point. This piece of fabric is from my hand-dyed fabric, my ice-dyed, I believe. It's either that or it's from my friend in California that sent a big sheet of cotton to me that she did. And I think when she ice dyed, she used the Procyon dyes, which I don't think I'm going to use. I think I'm going to stick with, at least not right at the moment, I'm going to stick with the RIT dyes, but I'm just loving using my hand-dyed fabrics in my projects. So there's probably going to be more of it sometime soon. But we've also talked about going out in the van and going somewhere to go camping, but we're not really campers. So it's like we don't want to waste our money going and just sitting around a campground. So yeah, lots of discussions, like I said. There were discussions and talks and talking about overthinking everything. But I think what's basically going to happen is probably in the fall we are going to have one big trip. Maybe. Possibly. I mean, we've talked about selling the house and going in the van full time until we find a place we want to live in. Maybe when prices come down. But we would kill each other. So, that's probably not going to happen. And that van, I don't know that there's an RV big enough for me to have my craft supplies with me. And if I don't have craft supplies with me, yeah, probably something bad would happen. Seriously, like, ay, ay, ay. Sad but true. I don't know if you all feel that way. Like, if you ever had to give up your crafts for any reason, what would happen? You know, I've seen t-shirts that say something about knitting, and if I ever ran out of yarn, I'd stab somebody's eyes out with my needles or something. I don't remember, but anyway, kind of humorous crafting humor. Yeah. And see, this kind of stitching, you can just do it. Just pick it up, do a section, put it down, go do what you need to do. It's kind of, for me, like if I have stuff I have to do, it's a reward that I get to sit down and stitch. Because I'd rather be doing this than anything else, of course. But feasibly, you know, that's not a good thing. Like when I had to make more lentils and quinoa, and when I have to make dinner, and when I have to, you know, wash my sheets. Like, my sheets are sitting in the washer right now. And I didn't put them in the dryer because last time I started a video and they were in the dryer, Tony came in and opened the door and stuck them on the bed. And so I just soon, the sheets just sit there until I'm ready to get them. Oh, yeah, I'm picky. And let's see. Last night, the sky finally turned blue about 6 p.m. It's trying, but when the air quality is this bad, I have a really hard time breathing. And there aren't even any like air quality alerts out, but the air quality is not great. Itchy. I had to put a bug zapper in this room last night and turn off all the lights and close the drapes and all that because I took a little snooze in the afternoon and I got a mosquito bite. So, wasn't happy about that. And a few hours later, I came in and got the bug zapper, and there were a few little dead things in there. So hopefully, it got the skeeter. Don't know for sure. I didn't get bitten anymore last night, so it either left the room or it got zapped. Does that mean I have to put a warning on this video? That I unalived something? Excuse me. Yeah, our weather's been so weird. Like, we had some really hot days, and now it's back to the 70s, but it's humid. Poured rain last night. About 11:30, it poured rain for about 20 minutes, I think. Well, I don't know. I fell asleep. Could have rained longer than that. It was still pretty wet on the deck this morning. But, yeah, poured. No thunder, no lightning. A lot of that was going on south of us. More going over Richmond, Virginia. But, we didn't get much. It sprinkled some before we went to bed. You know, maybe around 8:30, 9 o'clock. But, it pelted down hard last night. I'm trying to feel underneath with my ring finger under there, the one I always stab, to see where the batting stops. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. I'll try and get this done. Today is Wednesday, the 17th. Friday, it's my birthday. It's my birthday on Friday. 67. I will have lived 67 years as of Friday. Well, most of it. If you don't know the story about me having a heart attack, then yeah. I was missing in action for a few minutes during that heart attack, so I was not alive, but I am here. That birthday is coming up too. That's 4 days after my first birthday is my second birthday. And that birthday will be... How did that happen? Well, that's not good. All right, well, since that happened... Is that the one I just put in? Yes, it is. So we're going to go back and find that and tighten it up. There we go. So it'll be 16 years since that happened. So I will be 67 and 16 a few days later. Sweet 16. That's an experience I don't want to have again. Not anytime soon, anyway. But Friday, we are going to pick up whatever groceries we need for the weekend. and then go somewhere for lunch. Still don't know what I want to have for lunch. It's a lot harder when you're a vegan to celebrate your birthday. But anywho's, I probably won't be doing a video on Friday, so I will try and get these. I actually have 2 side blocks. I have this one and I have this one, and then this is the bottom, which I will probably add some Suffolk puffs and stuff like that too, but I'll have to make them first because I don't have anything in this color to help reinforce the bottom so it doesn't wear out. But like I might put one in the middle and then put 4 around and then put, I don't know, 3 here, 2 more, another couple there. I don't know, we'll see. But I have to make some Suffolk puffs. So I don't know that I'll get all this done by tomorrow. And be able to record me putting it together on the sewing machine. And I don't know how well I will be able to record me putting it together on the sewing machine. So I may have to sew it and just show you afterwards. My sewing machine, I should say my sewing machines, and all my threads and stuff like that are downstairs. I thought about doing it by hand, but I'd rather the integrity of the bag be pretty solid, because I'm hoping it'll get used. If not by me, by whomever I may gift it to. So, I will try to do that. Oops. Robin says that I made the excuse me. I made the directions pretty clear about how to put it together. She said it actually helped her quite a bit to put hers together. Thank you, Robin. Okay, I'm going to close out this video because it's over 50 minutes. I'm going to attach Robin's bag photograph, and I am going to finish these off video because really there's not a whole lot more for me to discuss. It's just slow stitching and putting it together. So I feel like I did really well on this one, and then I cheated out on this one. So I don't know if it feels that way to you. Let me know in the comments, and let me know what you're, if you're working on one, and if you are and you want to send me pictures, I can let you know how to do that. So there you go. Alrighty, well, thank you as always for joining me. I love you all. Oh, look at that pretty little flower. I love you all. Please be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, and be kind to me. Give me a thumbs up if you're watching. Subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't even have to ring the bell. I don't care. Just come back and watch me, and comment so that I know what's going on in your life and what you're doing. And I will be back. I'm not sure when. Like I said, Friday's my birthday, so I'm going to be out tooling around and, having lunch and stuff like that. I may be here in the afternoon, I may not. So I will talk to you soon, and you guys take care. Thanks for being here. Love y'all. Bye-bye.